Hey everybody, Jesse here, owner of Off The Hook Kiteboarding, and stoked to do our first pro rider interview, and couldn't be more stoked to have one of my friends, Colleen Carroll, join us for the first interview. So let's just kick this off. Colleen, tell us a little bit about yourself, and yeah, go for it.
Okay. Hi everybody, I am Colleen Carroll, and I am going to be answering some questions for Off The Hook Kiteboarding's brand new blog, which you should all check out because they're going to tell you when it's good and where. So, important information for your forecasts. I have been kiteboarding for about 11 years, and I ride for Duotone Kiteboarding.
Important information indeed for all their forecasts and stuff for all of us here locally. But yeah, so first question, what gear do you ride and why do you choose that particular gear? Let's find out.
I ride the Duotone dice and I absolutely love it. Why? Because I can take my one quiver of kites and I can have any session that I want to, and I'm super happy with the kit that I'm on. I can ride freestyle, hooked, unhooked, in the park. I can go out and cruise. I can ride my foil. I can even go get some waves on it, and I'm always super happy. So for board, I typically ride my Gambler if I'm in the park, or my Team Series if I'm riding freestyle.
Dice is a great setup and a great segue into tomorrow's video where we'll be riding the dice in Pro-Am here in Huntington Beach, so be on the lookout for that. Second question, when was your last kite session? Did you have to travel for it? If so, where did you go? Let's find out.
Back from the Grenadines a couple weeks ago. Originally our trip was going to be in Martinique, which is a really cool island in the Caribbean. It's a French island, but we were on a boat and we didn't have good wind up there at all. So we actually sailed 20 hours south down to the Grenadines, and we did end up getting some conditions. I was on a photo shoot with Pippa Van Eersel, Hannah Whiteley, Paula Novotna, and Francesca Bagnoli. We were shooting for an upcoming video that's going to be out in the summer, and we had a really great time, so keep an eye out for that. I do highly recommend going down to the Caribbean as well.
That sounds like an amazing trip. I definitely was watching all of that on your Instagram and can't wait for that video to go live. Definitely let us know when that's available. I'll make sure to post that here in the blog. Next question. What is a unique kite story that you have? And was it something that was absolutely crazy or something that was kind of mellow? So let us know. What was your most unique kite story?
I have one memory where some friends and I were in the Philippines on Palawan Island, and we finished our kite contest early. We had a couple days of really good wind, and we actually went island hopping by kite. And it might sound a little sketchy, but we were smart about it. We had some water and food and cash in case we had to go get a random boat taxi or something. But it was just a really unique experience, and I think something that only kiteboarding can give to you. And we were able to go cruising to these little islands that were pretty close together, and just us, nobody else is on these islands, and just a really natural way to experience these beautiful places. And I think that's so cool that kiteboarding allows us to do that.
It's definitely a unique story indeed, and definitely unique to our sport. What makes it so awesome, we could use it for transportation too. Who would have thought that's awesome. I know we've joked around about trying to cross over to Catalina from here in SoCal before. Some people claim they've done it. I've not met the person, but who knows, maybe something in the works for some of us here in the coming years. Yeah, so let's dive into our next question here is, what got you into kiteboarding?
And what got me into kiteboarding was that my parents were windsurfers, so we spent a lot of time coming down to Hood River, and we just saw the sport happening pretty early. A bunch of their friends got into kiteboarding early on. Eventually, we got pulled into it as well. I was super drawn to kiteboarding because we had snowboarded and wakeboarded growing up, and it just looked like something we absolutely had to try.
And a follow-up to that is, when did it become a profession, and how did that opportunity come to you?
It came because I became completely enamored with the sport, and I took a job as working in a shop. Next job I took as a kiteboarding instructor, managing a kite school, And then I just started chasing the wind. I would work and save up money, and then I would go on the next trip. I went to some of the best kiteboarding places in the world because I figured if that's where the pros are going to learn their new tricks and be the best, I wanted to be around that. I wanted to soak that in, and I just asked as many people as I could for questions and advice. And I made a lot of friends along the way, and I had some help in their support in suggesting me for sponsorship, and I luckily got into the Triple S Invitational, which is also another big part of my story and my launching pad into professional kiteboarding, was working hard to get into that event and working mostly on my skills to make sure that I could get in there, and then once I got in there I could perform well. So it's a lot of things that all come together, and everybody's story is going to be different, but that was kind of mine.
A lot of things definitely need to come together, but I think that definitely can help out for those of you who are looking into getting into a higher level of riding in the sport. Just, starting from that base floor, like Colleen said, where being in the shop and then getting into an instructor level, and then just being in that environment is key to getting you and launching you into a professional career with this sport. So definitely he's saying, and I think you'll find some success in that as long as you really work hard. Just like you did yourself, Colleen. So let's go ahead and get to our next question here. And I think it's pretty awesome that over the years, a lot of women have been getting into the sport. And I just want to know what do you think has encouraged women to jump in, and what can encourage more females to start participating? And to follow up with that, what can you tell our female students that might be working right now on learning some skills, and what do you have to tell ladies that are looking to get into it that haven't jumped in quite yet?
I am not exactly sure. I kind of think it's because I used to hear this all the time, and now I don't hear it that much from women who aren't kiteboarders yet, and they used to say, well, I'm not super strong, so I can't do it. And I think that was a really bad rumor that got spread about kiteboarding, because it's not true at all. And so I think people are realizing that that isn't true, that it's so much more about finesse and technique and taking lessons and buying new proper equipment, that anybody can kiteboard. It's not about strength at all. You don't have to have these big upper body muscles. You just have to go out and want to learn and be patient. And maybe some people are more athletic and they learn easier and they can do crazy unhook stuff. And maybe some people aren't as athletic, but they can still absolutely enjoy the sport and they can get into it. And you absolutely should if you're interested. So the second part of that question is, what advice do you have for our female students or ladies getting into the sport, looking to get into the sport? The advice I have is just to dive in and do it, and you're going to love every second of it. And maybe some seconds you won't, actually, because it can be frustrating in the beginning, but that frustration is just going to lead to it being more rewarding once you get over those hurdles and once you progress those skills and gain those new techniques that get you over that next plateau in your progression. So yeah, just go out and do it. It's so fun.
Stick with it. Definitely stick with it, even when you're getting to that plateau. It's crucial that you're there, because trust me, it's such a rewarding sport. You'll find those moments where you're just so happy that you stuck with it, and you'll be able to look back after a session and just be smiling ear to ear. I know, Colleen, you probably felt that. I've definitely felt that before. So yeah, it's super rewarding, everyone. Let's go to our final question now. Besides kiteboarding, what other passions do you have, and do these influence your kiteboarding at all?
I have a lot of other passions, and I've been into snowboarding and wakeboarding and mountain biking and yoga and running and hiking. Recently tennis. And I definitely think that some of these sports have an influence on my kiteboarding. I think that my wakeboarding and snowboarding background have a big influence on why I gravitated towards kite park riding, and why I wanted to be in the Triple S, because I really related to it from my snowboarding background, even though my later years of snowboarding I spent a lot more time in the backcountry. but still early on I had ridden park, and it just looked like something that I knew and I could relate to, and I wanted to dive into on the water.
Awesome. Well, like cross-pollination definitely helps, whether if it's getting you into kiteboarding in the beginning, like Colleen, your wakeboarding and snowboarding did, or it's stuff later on that once you get into kiteboarding, you might be able to pull from surfing or pull from some other sports that give you your style a little bit of a unique twist to you and give you a little bit more of inspiration outside the box. But awesome. Well, thank you so much, Colleen, for your time. It's been just awesome. I really appreciate it. Please take this moment to let everyone know what you have going on right now. Do you have any events coming up? Do you have any special things coming up in the pipeline? Let us know what you have going on.
What else is going on with me? At the moment, I don't have too many events going on because of everything that's going on in the world. However, as we get closer to summer, I am hopeful that some of our events will come back and will be able to happen starting in July. One of my favorite events that I just participate in is Kiteboard for Cancer. It happens July 10th to the 12th, and it is a great charity event. It's an endurance race. It's super fun to be a part of if you're in or around the Hood River area. Consider coming up for that or donating money to the cause. And then the other thing I have going in July is a women's camp for any of the ladies out there that are self-independent kiteboarders that want to progress their skills or even just have a great weekend hanging out with a group of amazing ladies, awesome networking and just fun retreat weekend all around. That's happening July 25th to 26th. To find out more information on that, you can hit me up on Instagram at Colleen J. Carroll, or you can go to our website, sensiandcolleen.com.
Answer, that's an awesome one. I'm hoping to get up there myself for it. If you don't know what it is, definitely check it out. If you've been a part of it, you know how awesome that event is. And then definitely check out Colleen and Cincy's trips. They're amazing. They're so fun to hang out with. So if you ladies are interested in hanging out with them, I've had some friends who've done the trips and they've been just super stoked on how they turned out. So definitely check those out. Again, Colleen, thank you so much for being here today. Just let the people know when they're in California, who they should look for their lessons, rentals, demos, and gear. Who should they look for?
And otherwise, if you're in Southern California, make sure to look to Off The Hook Kiteboarding if you need your lessons, rentals, or demos. Okay, bye guys.
Awesome. Colleen, thank you so much again for being a part of this little first round of interviews. So we'll be trying to post more of these throughout the next couple of weeks. I got some fun riders in the pipeline. If you are interested in hearing from any other pro duotone riders, specific ones, like maybe Eriton, Aaron, any of the ladies, any of the men, let us know in the comments down below. Be super happy to try to get them in an interview and let us know any questions that you may have for them. Again, thank you for coming and checking this out. If you're interested in more videos, go to offthehookkiteboarding.com or check us out on our YouTube videos and subscribe. But yeah, thanks everyone for checking this out. And